found a new place, and we want to get back to meeting in person. But in the meantime, over the last more than a year, Corroboree has got a lot of participants from all over the country. And we don't want to lose them. We want to get back together and meet in person, but we don't want to lose our online friends. So we're doing a hybrid in-person slash online meeting broadcast from Captain Quackenbush's Coffee House in South Austin. And it's Wednesday, 1 o'clock, and you can. I'm emailing Terry the basic information, so you can ask him, or I will put. I guess I can put my email in the chat, so you can contact me.
Well, I do. On Friday, I do a general mailing about these sessions, and I can put the information in that. Maybe late for the current session. So, I don't know, Joan, did you ever solve your microphone problem? No, you're still, have you thought of becoming a mime? I guess not. Okay, so the way we do this for the uninitiated is that before we take turns, and before the particular performer person starts to play, we'll mute everyone, and then that person will need to unmute before they give us their offering. So we usually begin in Poland with Mark. You got something for us, Mark?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
Yes,
I'm muting. All ready for you.
There I am, okay,
Yeah.
so to speak. As this song is from 1935, and it was done by Frances Langford, who was the GI's best friend, as part of Bob Hope's troupe and all like that. She sang the song that I sang last week, or tried to, but this is from 35, and pardon me. And I'm not, as I've got to say, as I didn't learn it from her. I've never heard it from Frances Langford. I learned it from Darla Hood, who was all of 4 years old at the time she sang it in one of the Our Gang comedies, okay? So here it is. I'll try to do this in her voice and as scale. I'm in the mood for love, simply because you're near me. Funny, but when you're near me, I'm in the mood for love. Heaven is in your eyes, bright as the stars we're under. Oh, is it any wonder I'm in the mood for love? Why stop to think of whether this little dream might fade? We've put our hearts together, now we are one. I'm not afraid. If there's a cloud above us, if it should rain, we'll let it. But for tonight, forget it. I'm in the mood for love. Don't wait for more. I don't got no more.
Very sweet. Was that your Darla voice? I didn't.
That was done by Darla Hood, who was 4 years old at the time, as following up on Frances Langford there in 1935. So amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, quite.
See if you can find that now.
Right. Let's move along to Dave Polacheck. If you're ready, Dave, I will mute everybody. and we're ready for you.
Hello. I'm going to be joined by my lovely wife on this. It's a song that I've developed out of a poem by a man named Edward Lear. And for those of you who don't know Edward Lear, he was a rather famous for his paintings of birds and also landscapes. But he's even more famous for his nonsense stories and poetry. Probably the most famous one was The Owl and the Pussycat.
And the nonsense alphabet.
And the Nonsense Alphabet. But he also wrote this song about himself called How Pleasant to Know Mr. Lear. And the tune I've chosen to make it into a song is an old tune called Come All Ye Tramps and Hawkers, which has been used for many songs over the years. How pleasant to know Mr. Lear, who has written such volumes of stuff. Some think him ill-tempered and queer, but a few think him pleasant enough. His mind is concrete and fastidious, his nose is remarkably big. His visage is more or less hideous, his beard it resembles a wig. He has ears and 2 eyes and 10 fingers, leastways if you reckon 2 thumbs. Long ago he was one of the singers, but now he is one of the dumbs. He sits in a beautiful parlor with hundreds of books on the wall. He drinks a great deal of marsala, but never gets tipsy at all. He has many friends, laymen and clerical. Old Foss is the name of his cat. His body is perfectly spherical. He weareth a runcible hat. When he walks in waterproof white, the children run after him so, calling out he's gone out in his nightgown, that crazy old Englishman, oh. He weeps by the side of the ocean, he weeps on the top of the hill. He purchases pancakes and lotion and chocolate shrimps from the mill. He reads, but he cannot speak Spanish, he cannot abide ginger beer. Ere the days of his pilgrimage vanish, how pleasant to know Mr. Lear.
So there's that word runstable again.
That's right.
Runcible. Oh, you have audio.
Just like
Congratulations, Joan.
Joan and the Pussycat ate their slices of quince with a runcible spoon.
That's right. I've often wondered if a runcible hat is what you put your porridge in order to eat it with a runcible. Sounds like it could be problematic. All righty. If I usually try to do this in the order in which people join, but I've lost complete track, so I'm just going to take them as they come. So perhaps Gwyneth would give us a number.
Okay.
I shall mute everyone and then let you know when to unmute. All ready for you to unmute, Gwyneth.
Okay. Having said that, I sing English traditional songs. This is actually one by Alan Bell, but it's in sort of a traditional style. It's called Alice White. My name is Alice White. I'll have you all to know. I'd left my father's farm a long time ago. My mother called me a silly lass and said I'd rue the day that I travelled on the heels of the navvies. My first man, Dandy Jack, was handsome, young and fine, and I followed him through England as we tramped from line to line. We lived in shanty houses with lodgers and children 3, and I worked to fill the needs of the navvies. When Dandy Jack was killed beneath a fall of stone, I wept and cursed the day that ever I was born. But the children needed feeding, and many men looked at me. So I jumped the brush to live with the navvies. Time came I was deserted when my children numbered 5. So I took to me another man for to keep us all alive. And so I've known so many men, they've called me Alice Free, and I've lived my life away with the navvies. And now I'm getting old and grey before my time, with the work and the childbearing as we tramp from line to line. But I'll never forget poor Dandy Jack, lying so cold in his grave. He's the only one I loved of the navvies. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
Very wonderful. I haven't heard that song. What's the background?
It's by Alan White, who's a UK singer-songwriter, or was a UK singer-songwriter. He also wrote Bread and Fishes, if you heard of that
I
song.
don't recall. Yeah.
And the song was about the people who dug out the canals in the UK.
The navvies.
The navvies that worked on the canals, and they lived in shanty houses, so it's accepted by the shanty community because it mentions the word shanty. But also it's sort of been taken over by the navvies on the railroad and taken as a railway song as well.
Well, and it does sound quite traditional. There's so many great British songwriters that are so not very well known here. So it's always
Well, he's
a treat
definitely
for
one
us.
to look up. Alan Bell.
Alan Bell, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, how about Mary Jane next? I'll mute everybody. I'm sure Mary Jane has a song for us. All ready when you are.
Okay. Well, since it's almost the 4th of July, I thought I'd start off with The Power and the Glory by Phil Oakes. It's my favorite patriotic song. Come and take a walk with me through this green and growing land. Walk through the meadows and the mountains and the sand. Walk through the valleys and the rivers and the plains. Walk through the sun and walk through the rain. Here is a land full of power and glory, beauty that words cannot recall. Our power shall rest on the strength of her freedom. Her glory shall rest on us all, on us all. From Colorado, Kansas, and the Carolinas too, Virginia and Alaska, from the old to the new, Texas and Ohio and the California shore. Tell me who could ask for more? Here is a land full of power and glory, beauty that words cannot recall. Our power shall rest on the strength of her freedom. Her glory shall rest on us all, on us all. She's only as rich as the poorest of her poor, only as free as the padlocked prison door, only as strong as our love for this land, only as tall as we stand. Here is a land full of power and glory, beauty that words cannot recall. Oh, her power shall rest on the strength of her freedom. Her glory shall rest on us all, on us all. But our land is still troubled by those who have to hate. They twist away our freedom and they twist away our fate. Fear is their weapon and treason is their cry. We can stop them if we try. Here's a land of power and glory, beauty that words cannot recall. But her power shall rest on the strength of her freedom. Her glory shall rest on us all, on us all.
Thank you so much. And I don't know that last verse. I gotta find it.
It's not in Rise Up Singing. I found it on the internet though.
Oh, good.
And
I'll look
so,
for it.
yeah, it wasn't hard to find. I was just
Yeah.
looking for something I could copy and make a good song sheet out of, and oh, there's another verse.
Yes, I learned to sing in the peanut gallery because I knew that mighty oaks from little peanuts grow. No, I'm sorry.
Well, I hope you don't think this is a
That was a
peanut gallery
stretch.
song. For crying
Well, I
out
have to
loud,
put
some
up
of the
with
things you say.
I live with him, Mary.
Okay.
Okay. After that great example of poetry, I think I'll pass it along to a poet. So, Jeff, you have something for us today? I hope so, because I'm muting everyone. And we're ready for you.
Did you say me? I didn't hear who you said.
Sorry. Yes, I did say you, and I muted everybody, and then I muted me, so that's why you didn't hear me. But do you have something for us today?
I'm trying to double task here. I just sent you an email. But now it's time for, I guess, a poem Um, so this is pretty new, um, but it has been through a workshop, so it's not like entirely a rough draft. I'm calling this Chickadee Arcade. Yardbirds risk this perilous arcade. My landlady's bird feeder. Those things scare me. Bird feathers and grisly shreds sometimes litter the grass. Might have been a cat. Once I spied a victorious robber hawk fleeing. Squirrels scatter birds. My landlady bangs on a sliding glass door. Squirrels continue feasting as chickadees complain around the hawk and cat feeder. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. So let's see. We had Gwyneth. I'm all confused. We had Mary Jane. I should have done Jeff earlier. So, Joan, or maybe I'll slip in one. Yeah, let's go to Joan. If you would like, are you singing with us today, or just listening? Joan?
Are you talking to me?
I
I think Al is ready to go.
Okay, well, if you say so.
I have a thought I might add later, but yeah.
Okay, well, we'll keep you in the queue here and get back to you. Meanwhile, why not Al? I'm muting everybody, though. Let's see. Muting everybody. Ready for Al.
Okay, it's okay to do a 4th of July song a day early? Yeah, I got a patriotic flag song written by George M. Cohan. But this is one he wrote about 5 years ahead of, he wrote this song called It's a Grand Old Rag, and then he renamed it It's a Grand Old Flag based on popular response. And he attributed the original name to a Civil War veteran that wasn't really his idea. But anyway, he wrote this one about 5 years before he wrote that one. But it's a patriotic flag song with a different kind of a twist. A friend of mine, a patriotic crank. Well, he loved to play a patriotic prank. He used to really wave, and a flag around he'd wave, because he had some money in the bank. He traveled around the world to spend his coin, and landed back here in the Tenderloin without a single sou. A song I'll sing to you, the chorus which he wrote, I know you'll join. Makes no difference if you're Yankee, English, Irish, Scotch, or Dutch. If your bank check's there and it's on the square, you need not care if you're here or there. When you're rich, you're the smoke. When you're broke, it's a joke. It's the man behind the door who gets the call. With a good supply of money, everything is milk and honey under any old flag at all. They never ask your name around the earth. They only ask you just how much you're worth. Then they'll jolly you along and sing your native song and gladly praise the land that gave you birth. If you want to be a hero, bold and brave, an awful lot of trouble you can save. If you take this tip from me, I'm sure you will agree. A fountain pen's the only thing to wave. Makes no difference if you're Yankee, English, Irish, Scotch, or Dutch. If your bank check's there and it's on the square, you need not care if you're here nor there. When you're rich, you're the smoke. When you're broke, it's a joke. It's the man behind the door who gets the call. With a good supply of money, everything is milk and honey under any old flag at all.
Yeah, how patriotic. Very American in the patriotic sense, too. Well, all right. I guess I'll do one. Which one shall I do? No, this is one that, like 90% of everything I do comes from the 20s. And this is in the classic jazz tradition. It was recorded by Bessie Smith, among others. I'm not sure who the original author was. It's Nobody Knows You When You're Down and Out. Once I lived the life of a millionaire, spent all my money like I didn't care, taking my friends out for a good time, buying that bootleg whiskey and that champagne wine. Then I began to fall so low, didn't have a dollar, had no place to go. If I ever get my hands on a dollar again, I'm gonna hang on to it till the ego grins, 'cause nobody knows you when you're down and out. In your pocket's not one penny, and you know them friends, you ain't got any when you get back on your feet again. Everybody wants to be your long-lost friend. Yes, it's mighty strange, without a doubt, how no one can use you when you're down and out. other day I asked a man for my rent. He told me, boy, the money's all spent. I tried my best to try one or two. That was everything I could do. Lord, he let me have one lousy dime. Now I get worried most all the time. I'm gonna tell you the truth without a doubt, that nobody knows you when you're down and out. 'Cause nobody knows you when you're down and out. In your pocket's not one penny, and as for friends, you haven't any when you get back on your feet again. Everybody wants to be your long-lost friend. Yes, it's mighty strange without a doubt. No gal can use you when you're down and out. Nobody knows you when you're down and out.
That's a good old song.
Yeah.
That's a, I mean, it's like a blues song, I guess, but it sounds danceable.
Well, early jazz. I mean, that's basically where it came from. The dance bands playing blues.
Cool. Thanks for bringing that.
Oh, well, you're welcome. My pleasure. I believe that we've gone all the way back around to Mark. Do you have something else for us, Mark?
I do, as
Okay, in that case, I shall mute everyone. Now, I didn't miss anybody, did I? I got a little confused this time. Okay, well, we're ready for Mark then. You can unmute at will.
okay, as this is again as one of Old Possum's accounts. This is about Mungo Jerry, not the singing group, or Mungo Jerry and Rumpelteazer. Okay, Mungo Jerry and Rumpelteazer were a very notorious couple of cats. As knockabout clowns, quick change comedians, tightrope walkers, and acrobats, they had an extensive reputation. They made their home in Victoria Grove. That was merely their center of operation, for they were incurably given to rove. They were very well known in Cornwall Gardens, in Lunston Place, and in Kensington Square. They really had little more reputation than a couple of cats can very well bear. If the area window was found ajar in the basement, it looked like a field of war. If a tile or two came loose on the roof, which presently ceased to be waterproof, if the drawers were pulled out from the bedroom chests, you couldn't find one of your winter vests, or after supper, one of the girls suddenly missed her Woolworth pearls, then the family would say, "It's that horrible cat." It was Mungo Jerry or Rumpelteazer, and most of the time they left it at that. Mungo Jerry and Rumpelteazer had a very unusual gift of gab. They were highly efficient cat burglars as well, and remarkably smart at the smash and grab. They made their home in Victoria Grove. They had no regular occupation. They were plausible fellows and liked to engage a friendly policeman in conversation. When the family assembled for Sunday dinner, with their minds made up that they wouldn't get thinner on Argentine joint, potatoes, and greens, and the cook would appear from behind the scenes and say in a voice that was broken with sorrow, I'm afraid you must wait and have dinner tomorrow, for the joint has gone from the oven, like that. Then the family would say, it's that horrible cat. It was Mungo Jerry or Rumpelteazer. And most of the time they left it at that. Mungo Jerry and Rumpelteazer had a wonderful way of working together. And some of the time you would say it was luck, and some of the time you would say it was weather. They would go through the house like a hurricane, and no sober person could take his oath. Was it Mungo Jerry or Rumpelteazer? Or could you have sworn that it might be both? And when you heard the dining room smash, or up from the pantry there came loud crash, or down from the library came loud bing from a vase that was commonly said to be Ming, then the family. Now, which was which cat? It was Mungo Jerry and Rumpelteazer. There's nothing at all to be done about that.
They sound a little familiar to me.
Yes, I've read it before. I'll probably read it again. Who knows?
No, I mean the cats sound very familiar to me.
Yes, yes. Yes, yeah, T.S. Eliot, right?
I think that was the first T.S. Eliot poem I ever read. Because I had to find out, some smart aleck said the name of the band, Mungo Jerry, really referred to a T.S. Eliot poem. I had to find out what he was talking about. And I think that was the first T.S. Eliot poem I ever read. That's a great.
You would have thought Mungo Jerry, the band, was so literate, but.
Yes, the band has followed the poem and not vice versa.
Right. In the summertime, when the weather is high, you can reach right up and touch the sky, and then it gets more and more misogynistic and.
But he could sing while swallowing. That was the weird thing.
Mungo Jerry?
He made this sound like a bullfrog sort of sound while he was singing.
Yeah. It was a great little song, except for the lyrics.
There are times when I'm really happy that I never really get lyrics well. I have a feeling that I've had some hearing issues since I was a teenager. I lived in a house where my dad did not like rock and roll. So like I listened to the radio with my ear pressed against the speaker at a very low volume. And so I never got lyrics very well. And later on when I had a radio and all, even then, even though I had them turned up, I never did. So I never realized they were misogynistic. I love that song.
Yeah, well, you're quite fortunate not to have discerned if your daddy is rich, just take her out for a meal. If your daddy's poor, just do what you will.
Well, I guess I heard that, and I didn't.
But it was a great
I didn't
song,
put it together as misogynistic, but anyway, yeah, I love the song.
Classist and misogynistic. It's easier to see these things looking backward. But anyway. There will go on to some traditional ballads that are worse, I'm sure. I know a lot of them. Okay, so how about Dave Polacheck next? I will mute everyone if Dave's ready. Already.
Well, I've convinced Karen to do one. This is actually both of us together. And it's an old English song that we learned from the singing of the Copper family, but we do our own arrangement, however. It's called Spencer the Rover. These words were composed by Spencer the Rover, who traveled Great Britain and most parts of Wales. he had been so reduced,
which caused great confusion.
and that was the reason he went on the road. In Yorkshire near Rotherham he had been on his rambles. Being weary of traveling, he sat down to rest. At the foot of yonder mountain
there flows a clear fountain,
with bread and cold water he himself did refresh. It tasted more sweeter than the gold he had wasted, more sweeter than honey, and gave more content, till the thought of his babies
lamenting their father
brought tears to his eyes, which made him lament. The night fast approaching, to the woods he resorted, with woodbine and ivy his bed for to make. There he dreamt about sighing,
lamenting and crying,
go home to your family and rambling forsake. 'Twas the 12th of November, I've a reason to remember, when first he arrived at home to his family and wife. They stood so amazed
when first he arrived to behold such a stranger once more in their sight. Then his children gathered round him with their prittle-prattling stories, with their prittle-prattling stories to drive cares away.
Now they are united,
like ants in one labor,
like bees in one hive, contented they'll stay. So now he is a living in his cottage contented, with woodbine and roses growing all around the door. He's as happy as those who
have thousands of riches. Contented he'll stay and go rambling no more.
Spencer the Rover.
Oh, that's one of my
That
very
was beautiful.
favorite
I love it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That's one of my
great
very
harmony.
favorite Polacheck songs. Yes.
The
David.
voices, I love harmony, and it was beautiful, just beautiful. You're really well balanced, so that was just really cool.
Well, I'm glad you liked it. Karen and I love doing that song.
Yes, and
You can tell.
Yeah.
We're practicing a couple of other Copper Family songs that we'll do later, maybe tomorrow or next week. We're going to do
the Copper Family and the Wattersons, and you'll
and the
always be in good voice.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, you want to do another one since there's two of you?
All right. This is a poem by W.B. Yeats.
Okay, give me a minute to mute. I'm
Okay.
muting everybody. Ready now.
It's called The Fiddler of Dooney, and it is a very theological poem. Basically, it says that musicians get into heaven ahead of priests, which I'm sure we all agree with. And the tune I've picked is The South Wind, which is an old Irish air. When I play on my fiddle at Dooney, folk dance like a wave of the sea. My brother is priest in Kilvarnet, my cousin in Machrabuie. I passed my brother and cousin, they read in their books of prayer. I read in my book of songs that I bought at the Sligo Fair. Come at the end of time to Peter sitting in state. He will smile on the three old spirits, but he'll call me first through the gate. For the good are always the merry, saved by an evil chance. And the merry love the fiddle, and the merry love to dance. And when the folk there spy me, they will all come up to me with "Here is the fiddler of Dooney," and dance like a wave of the sea. Like a wave of the sea.
Very nice. Well, I think, let's see, I think we've come around to Gwyneth next. Do you have another one for us? I'm going to mute everybody in hopes that that's the case.
Yes, I can.
Okay.
I'll do.
We are ready for you to unmute now.
Right. This one is Ratcliffe Highway, which was a notorious street in leading down to the Thames in London, down to the docks, which the sailors used to frequent because of the number of pubs and bawdy houses. Ratcliffe Highway. As I was a-walking down London from Wapping to Ratcliffe Highway, I chanced to pop into a gin shop to spend a long night and a day. A young doxy came rolling up to me and asked if I'd money to sport. For a bottle of wine changed a guinea. She promptly replied, "That's the sort." When the bottle was placed on the table, there were glasses for everyone. When I asked for the change of my guinea, she tipped me a verse of a song. This lady flew into a passion and placed both her hands on her hip, saying, "Sailor, don't you know our fashion? Do you think you're on board of your ship? If this is your fashion to rob me, it's a fashion I'll never abide. So launch out the change of my guinea, or else I'll give you a broadside." Sorry. A gold watch hung over the mantel, so the change of my guinea I took, and down the stairs I ran nimbly, saying, "Darn my old boots, I'm well paid." The night being dark in my favour, to the river I quickly did creep, and I jumped in a boat bound for Deptford, and got safe aboard of my ship. So come all you bold young sailors that ramble down Ratcliffe Highway, if you chance to pop into a gin shop, beware lads how long you do stay, for the songs and the liquors invite you, and your heart will be all in a rage if you give them a guinea for a bottle. You can go to the devil for change. Thanks.
Thank you. And if I can find the words, I'll maybe do this later. I have another song involving change of a sovereign. Gwyneth may be able to guess what it is, but I may do that a little later. I'll root around and see if I got the words. And meanwhile, let's go to Geoffrey Hall. I'm muting everyone.
Okay. I'm going to read one from, okay, so this is from a local Austin journal, a literary journal called the Ocotillo Review. And I got published in this one. It was February 2019. And so this is called 737. 737. If anybody makes you feel uneasy, Angel, tell your attendant you need to talk. At 12, she's hard to read. A jet taxis from runway action, points our way. It nods and slows, weary of trying to stop Earth from spiraling. We left my mom dying in a nursing home. I had to think positive. That's a Boeing 737. Excellent service record. It grows. Its sheet aluminum expands in the window wall. She frowns. The wings are dirty. What's a dad supposed to say? I'm sure this great design will work okay. The world we know is ruined. Her mom has made her mind up to take everything. My mom can no longer hang on. The wings of my child's plane are dirty there, around the rivets where fractures start. It noses between the setting sun and us. We find each other's reflections, dad and girl strafed by grimy rivets on a grimy plane. I'm sorry, Angel. I tried to set things right. Some things I can't. She turns a dancer's turn and hugs me for the entire time arriving passengers fan out and disperse. I hope you get home safely too, Papa. I'll be a zombie when I get there. Sleep. You deserve a pillow and a blanket. I just can't sleep on planes. I bet I could sleep on a UFO. A flight attendant nears, stops 2 steps back, impeccable, professional stranger with made-up face. She's labeled Trish. I can't attach a girl name to a grown-up. With arms around my daughter's breathing, perfect center of the world, I cave, empty. I don't believe I can stand here on my own. The flight attendant raises her wrist. No watch. She taps it anyway. No time. Thank you.
Yay! Good one.
Thank you, Jeff. Um, all this shuffling of papers, I, I, I seem to have lost my list of who's next in the queue. So I'm just going to pick someone at random. How about Mary Jane? Are you
Yes.
for one? Okay, muting everyone. Ready, Mary Jane.
Okay, well, I'm going to do, well, I guess it's more like a union song, but it's also a song for women's rights. And it's called Bread and Roses, originally written as a poem by James Oppenheim. And it's set to the music of Caroline Colesleet. And it has other tunes too. Mimi Farina wrote a different tune, and John Denver wrote a different tune, and some guy in Germany wrote a different tune. But I think this might be the oldest tune of any of those that I mentioned. And it's also appears in the Unitarian hymnal, this song with this particular tune. So I knew I wanted to learn it, so I was pretty easy to find in my own hymnal. But it was inspired by the women's rights movement that I think James Oppenheim heard Helen Todd, an activist of the day, speaking on the subject of women's rights and particularly the right to vote. And she used the phrase bread and roses, give us bread, but give us roses, something to that extent. And so that inspired him to write the song. And he wrote it in 1911. And the famous strike that it's associated with, the strike of a woman in a textile plant in Lawrence, Massachusetts, it's associated with that strike because that was a successful strike and the poem had been written by that time. But as far as the actual tune being written, it probably was not, it couldn't have been sung at that time. and it's unclear, whether anything other than the phrase bread and roses was ever associated with that strike. But for some reason, due to historical inaccuracies of reporting, the song is associated with that strike. So anyway, I kind of learned some history recently, learned that there isn't really a very good story to really say when the song first got into the mainstream. But here it goes, Bread and Roses. As we go marching, marching in the beauty of the day, a million darkened kitchens, 1,000 billboards gray, are touched with all the radiance that a sudden sun discloses. For the people hear us singing bread and roses, bread and roses. As we go marching, marching, we battle for men, for they are women's children, and we mother them again. Our lives shall not be sweated from birth until life closes. Hearts starve as well as bodies. Give us bread, but give us roses. As we go marching, women dead go crying through our singing their ancient call for bread. Smart art and love and beauty, the dredging spirits do. Yes, it is bread we fight for, but we fight for roses too. As we go marching, marching, we bring the greater days. The rising of the women means the rising of the race. No more the drudge and idler, tend that toil where one reposes, but the sharing of life's glories, bread and roses, bread and roses.
One of the great and rousing Union songs. Yeah. Thank you, Mary Jane.
One of my favorite songs. Thank you. You're hitting them all today.
Well, let's see if this one will ring a bell for you. I'm dreadfully disorganized today, so if you feel like I passed over you, be sure and speak up, because we've got plenty of time to hear everybody at least twice, and so your turn will come, but you may have to demand it. So I'm gonna just slip in one myself here.
Don't forget
was
Tom.
unable-
He came in late.
What?
Don't forget Tom. He came in late.
I won't forget Tom. He's definitely, the presence of Tom is always felt. So, but I'm going to do one here. I think Tom will like this one. Okay, this is, now I never did scare up the words to the song that I thought of, which is the Brisk Young Butcher, in which change of a sovereign has an important role to play. But I'll do it tomorrow at the Celtic session. And we do a Celtic session on Sunday. This is this the right week, Dave, for Celtic session? Yeah. Oh, yes, it is. So I'll try to do it tomorrow. And in the meantime, I always like to, as Pete Seeger did, I always like to challenge the banjo. So here's, I don't think I've ever heard, I shouldn't say that so quickly, but I don't think I've ever heard anybody do reggae music on the banjo. Although the banjo is well known in Jamaican mento and calypso music, not so much in reggae. And this is a song from Jimmy Cliff, who is one of the great founders of the reggae movement in Jamaica. And one thing that surprised me, I ran across a YouTube video of Jimmy in concert and was surprised to see that he was a left-handed guitarist who played his instrument in much the same style as Elizabeth Cotten. That is, unlike most left-handed players, he did not reverse the strings, he just played it upside down and backwards. And Elizabeth Cotten is the only other musician I can think of who played the guitar that way, but Jimmy Cliff did it as well. So this is a famous Jimmy Cliff song. Sitting here in limbo, like a bird without a song. Sitting here in limbo, but I know it won't be long. Yes, they're putting up resistance, but I know my faith will lead me home. Sitting here in limbo, waiting for the tide to flow. Sitting here in limbo, knowing that I have to go. Yes, they're putting up resistance, but I know my faith will lead me on. I don't know what life will show me, but I know just what I've seen. I can't see where life will lead me, but I know just where I've been. Tried my hand at loving kindness, but all that is past and gone. This little boy is moving on. Sitting here in limbo, waiting for the dice to roll. Sitting here in limbo, waiting for God some time to search my soul. Yes, they're putting up resistance, but I know my faith will lead me on. Sitting here in limbo, waiting for the dice to roll. Sitting here in limbo, waiting for the dice to roll. Well, they're putting up resistance, but I know my faith will lead me home. I don't know what life will show me, but I know just what I've seen. I don't know where life will lead me, but I know just where I've been. Tried my hand at love and friendship, but all that is past and gone. This little boy is moving on. Sitting here in limbo, waiting for the tide to flow. Sitting here in limbo, though I know I have to go. Yes, they're putting up resistance, but I know my faith will lead me on. Yeah, they're putting up resistance, but I know my faith will lead me on.
The harder they come, the harder they fall. Jimmy
Oh, they
Cliff
do.
forever. Yeah, baby. Ah, wonderful.
Someone
Reggae.
remembers Jimmy Cliff.
Jimmy Cliff forever.
Yeah. Well, Tom, let's give you a turn next.
Okay, brother. Thank you so much.
Alrighty, I'm muting everyone.
Okay, this is for the Song Circle people, and it's much respect for your respect. Yes, I have been to Ossie and the Bard's grave high on the northern Highland hills, and the homes of Wordsworth, Dickens, towers of Joyce and Yeats, Pierre Lachaise, where Stendhal, Guy de Maupassant, Edith Piaf, Oscar Wilde, and the Lizard King himself are in state. Sat in Wordsworth's chair, O. Henry's chair, was at Dean Swift's resting place, with his mistress Stella also there. Much respect to all those of Song Circle who lived so powerfully before and after us, and to you who revere their accomplishments. In Birmingham, England, in the Bullring Marketplace, there's a placard that speaks of a poet who frequented that market hundreds of years ago, sharing poems amongst people, just like Albert Hofstadter in Austin, Texas. So let me not to the marriage of true minds impediment. Rather, let us facilitate, encourage, and assimilate connections and conjunctions of parallel minds today, in order to facilitate diamond truths from all coal fires of hot conversations, whether it be via circle sagas, storytelling, salon soirees, or particle parties like this one. The socialization of parallel seekers is salubrious and significant. We are learning from each other, and compound wisdoms when together. Every writer and singer is a magnet and a sponge. We soak in the stories and songs of our times. We relate to those with whom we share our hopes. We swim in a sea of inspirations, dive deep for mermaid visions, rise up like dolphins in play. It has always been this way. From cave to firelit circles, stories and songs are born, shared, repeated chorus. They become legends. We become heroes. Before writing, there was talking, listening, singing, sharing, speech and songlines. Fate, meet free will. Chance, meet destiny. Astrologer, meet astronomer. Past, meet your future. Personified, they're all of us. Chattering finches, monkeys counting to 101. Discoveries always come. We acknowledge their historical origins and clothe them in new skin for the old ceremonies like Leonard Cohen. Everything is repeated. Everyone is repeated. Cycle, recycle, party, the riff's on. Thanks for listening.
Yay!
Yay, Dave. Thanks for doing poetry.
All righty. Well, how about Al? Al Christian, would you like to do one for us? I'm just taking people at random here, so.
Okay.
Okay, I'm muting everybody. Hold on, Al. Okay, now please unmute, Al.
Okay. I got a song here about hold on a second, I dropped several of my plectra. Is plectra the plural of plectrum? Is plectra the plural of plectrum?
It is now.
Yes.
Okay. This is a song you probably all know. This is a song set in Texas. It's Roy Bean. And this is an old song, I think. I'm not sure how old, but it's on the subject of change that Terry was talking about. Cowboys, come and hear my story of Roy Bean and all his glory. All the law west of the Pecos spread his sign to a town on the lower Pecos where the high. Well, hold on, I missed it. I wrote these lyrics out here on this little notebook, but when I wrote them out, my handwriting was terrible, and now I've got eyesight to match, so it's kind of crazy. Cowboys, come and hear my glove story of Roy Bean and all his glory. All the wall west of the Pecos spread his sign. We must let our ponies take us to town on the lower Pecos, where the high bridge spans the canyon thin and fine. He was born one day near Toya, and he learned to be a lawyer, a teacher, and a barber, and a mayor. He was cook and old shoe mender, sometimes preacher and bartender, and it cost 2 bits to have him cut your hair. He was right smart of a hustler and considerable of a rustler. Mixing up an eggnog, he was grand. He was clever, he was merry. He could mix a Tom and Jerry, and on occasion at a roundup took a hand. Though the story isn't funny, there was once when Roy had no money, which for him was not so very rare. So he went to help Pap wind it, but he got so absent-minded that he put his RB brand on old Pap's steers. As Pep got right smart angry, Roy Bean rode down to Langtree, where he opened up an office and a store. He would sell you drinks or buttons, or another answers muttons, though the latter made the other feller sore. Once there came from Austin City a young dude reported witty. Out of Bean, he sort of guessed he'd take a rise. So he got unusually frisky, and he upped and called for whiskey, saying, Bean, now hurry up, goddamn your eyes. Then down he threw $10, which the same Roy quickly collars, and the same Roy holds the 9 and hands back 1. Then the dude, he gave a holler when he saw that single dollar, and right then there began the merriment and the fun. The dude, he slammed the table just as hard as he was able. The price of whiskey was too high, he swore. Says Roy, for all your fussing and your most outrageous cussing, you're fined the other dollar by the law.
Great. Judge Roy
David, you're
Bean,
muted.
law west of the Pecos. Okay. Well,
Yeah, I consider that a pretty weak folk song. It's probably right about the level where it barely deserves to survive, but it survives in my bottom drawer, and that's the first time I've sung it in about 35 years.
well, that's what I like about your repertoire, Al. You dig things out of that bottom drawer, and they're quite entertaining. Okay. So, Joan, would you like to do something?
I have a poem which seems like a good one for these days, considering
let
4th
me
of July.
Let me mute everybody,
Okay.
and you may unmute when ready.
Langston Hughes is probably one of the most wonderful poets that US has that very few people know. I just love him. And this one was one that I was part of a group when Bush was reelected to do a kind of a protest on inaugural day at Love Park in Philly with friends of mine. We organized a reading of the poem where we actually had lines on the cards, and we passed them out to people who wanted to read the line. And this included anyone in Love Park. Love Park was known in those days, and still a little bit, for being a place for people who are homeless hang out, and people who come and eat lunch at lunchtime. And it was just an amazing experience. And this poem feels right for these days. Let America be America again. Let it be the dream it used to be. Let it be the pioneer on the plain, seeking a home where he himself is free. America was never America to me. Let America be the dream the dreamers dreamed. Let it be that great, strong land of love, where never kings connive, nor tyrants scheme, that any man be crushed by one above. It never was America to me. Oh, let my land be a land where liberty is crowned with no false patriotic wreath, but opportunity is real and life is free. Equality is in the air we breathe. There's never been equality for me, nor freedom in this homeland of the free. Say, who are you that mumbles in the dark? And who are you that draws your veil across the stars? I am the poor white, fooled and pushed apart. I am the Negro bearing slavery's scars. I am the red man driven from the land. I am the immigrant clutching the hope I seek and finding only the same old stupid plan of dog eat dog, of mighty crush the weak. I am the young man full of strength and hope, tangled in that ancient endless chain of profit, power, gain, of grab the land, of grab the gold, of grab the ways of satisfying need, of work the men, of take the pay, of owning everything for one's own greed. I am the farmer, bondsman to the soil. I am the worker sold to the machine. I am the Negro servant to all. I am the people, humble, hungry, mean, hungry, yet today, despite the dream, beaten yet today. Oh, pioneers, I am the man who never got ahead, the poorest worker bartered through the years, yet I'm the one who dreamt our basic dream in the old world while still a serf of kings, who dreamt a dream so strong, so brave, so true, that even yet its mighty daring sings in every brick and stone, in every furrow turned, that's made America the land it has become. Oh, I'm the man who sailed those early seas in search of what I meant to be my home. For I'm the one who left dark Ireland's shore and Poland's plain and England's grassy lay, and torn from Black Africa's strand, I came to build a homeland of the free. The free? Who said the free? Not me. Surely not me. The millions on relief today, the millions shot down when we strike, the millions who have nothing for our pay, for all the dreams we've dreamed and all the songs we've sung and all the hopes we've held and all the flags we've hung, the million who have nothing for our pay except the dream that's almost dead today. Oh, let America be America again, and the land that never has been yet, and yet must be the land where everyone is free. The land that's mine, the poor man's, Indians, Negroes, me, who made America, whose sweat and blood, whose faith and pain, whose hand at the foundry, whose plow in the rain must bring back our mighty dream again. Sure, call me any ugly name you choose. The steel of freedom does not stain. From those who live like leeches on the people's lives, we must take back our land again, America. Oh yes, I say it plain. America never was America to me, and yet I swear this oath, America will be. Out of the rack and ruin of our gangster death, the rape and rot of graft and stealth and lies, we, the people, must redeem the land, the mines, the plants, the rivers, the mountains and the endless plain, all the stretch of these great green states, and make America again.
There's an Independence Day poem I can subscribe to. Yeah. Okay, I think we've gone all the way around and are ready to do encores. Is that true, or did I miss anybody on the second round? I know Tom needs another one, but I'm gonna slip one in again. I know I've done a lot of them today, but this is as promised. I'm going to go ahead and do the brisk young butcher and the chambermaid. And let's see, I think I've got lyrics here somewhere. Let's see if I got all the muting right here. Let's see. Okay. voice of a brisk young butcher, as I have heard them say. He started out from London town all on a certain day. He says, a frolic I will have, my fortune for to try. I will go into Leicestershire, some cattle for to buy. When he arrived at Leicester town, he came unto an inn. He called out for an ostler and boldly stepped in. Called for liquor of the best, he being a roving blade, quickly set his eyes upon the lovely chambermaid. She took him up a candle to light him to bed, and when she came into the room, these are the words they said. 1 sovereign I'll give to you, all to enjoy your charms. And this fair maid all night did sleep all in the butcher's arms. 'Twas early the next morning he prepared to go away. The landlord said, your reckoning, sir, you have forgot to pay. Oh no, the butcher did reply, pray do not think it strange. Sovereign I gave your maid, and I haven't got any change. They straightway called the chambermaid and charged her with the same. The golden sovereign she laid down, nor fear she'd get the blame. The butcher he then went home, well pleased with what was past. And soon this pretty chambermaid grew thick about the waist. Oops. 'Twas in a 12-month after he came to town again, and then as he had done before, he stopped at that same inn. 'Twas then the buxom chambermaid she chanced him for to see. She bought a babe just 3 months old and placed it on his knee. The butcher sat like one amazed, and at the child did stare. But when the joke he did find out how he did stamp and swear. She said, kind sir, it is your own play, do not think it strange. 1 sovereign you gave to me, and here I've brought you change. Gotta get the punchline right. One sovereign you gave to me, and here I brought you change. So come you brisk and lively babes, and pray be ruled by me. Look well into your bargain, sir, before your money pay, or soon perhaps your folly will give you cause to range. If e'er you sport with pretty girls, be sure to get you change.
Yay!
Another cautionary fable, cautionary
Yes,
tale.
yes. Yeah, this is one that I heard, of course, from Maddie Pryor and Tim. What's Tim's last name?
Tim Hart.
Tim Hart, of course. Yep. Well, would anyone else like to offer us an encore?
I'll do
Al?
one.
Yeah, Al, and then Tom. So I'll mute everybody. Hold your horses. We'll get there. Now, please unmute, Al.
Wrong button. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to get a poll here. You were talking about songs that were misogynistic and this whole idea about what you should sing nowadays and what you shouldn't, I'm really confused about, because I've just been totally culturally isolated here in my kind of my own world for a while. So I'm interested in getting an idea whether this song is singable in the modern era or not. It's an old cowboy song. Oh, the boss, he took a trip to France down on the old bargee. As long as you're all muted, feel free to sing along. And he left his wife to run the ranch down on the old bargee. Then our camp cookie soon was through down on the old bargee. 'Cause we found his pipe white in the stew down on the old bargee. But when we let that feller go, we married grief and we married woe. 'Cause the old gal thought you cooked the dough down on the old bargee. We should have seen her opening meal down on the old bargee. We all blinked twice, it was unreal down on the old bargee. We had figs and fudge and stewed up prunes and chocolate cake all mixed and gooey. My God said, Tex, my stomach's ruined down on the old bargee. Let's see. Oh my gosh. I forget what happened. Oh, this has an next series. So we quit that job and that cook lady down on the old bargee. And we hauled our freight for the Lone Prairie down on the old bargee. 'Cause out on the plains we can swear and cuss and get real mean and boisterous. Apron strings couldn't tie us down on the old bargee.
Ah, yes, down on the old bargee. Other famous fictitious places where strange things happen, like
I love fictitious.
Beaver Creek and
Yeah.
those places. So Tom, will you give us a verse or two?
Happy to.
Okay, I am
Mute them
muting.
all. Mute them all.
Ready for you.
Ready. Insomniacs Anonymous, which is every one of us. Those of you who are alive when the whole world is sleeping. Those who distill your dreams into songs, art, dance, poems. Those of you who are aware of silences and the pauses between them. Those whose inner architecture becomes their outer. Those of spirals, fractals, Fibonacci sequences, and solfeggio sounds. Those outside time, death, pain, suffering, and limits, including those within us. Those with more names and numbers than names and numbers. Insomniacs Anonymous, us, alive, alert, aware, watchers, guardians. You see some as frontline workers, comedians, storytellers. They hammer truth like Thor of Asgard, not Marvel Corporation. Myths and legends are built around them, anonymous as your shadow. Some have no microwave, nor motor car, more bicycle, walking, scooter. They walk in, dance, perambulate, stroll, saunter in demonstrations. They're the jokesters who trick the NRA into performing to an empty audience. They are art on Gaza prison walls, temporary as snow and fascism. They're of peace, meditating now. You know them all, allies, companions, friends, frenemies, on whom your whole world depends right now. Insomniacs, Anonymous, us. Thank you.
Yay!
Hey, Dave.
Ever vigilant we are. a great 4th of July thought. So, any more encores? Encores, please.
David, want to?
David, okay. Muting everyone. All right for you, David?
Here's one by an American poet, one of Robert Frost's most famous poems, Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. And the tune I picked for this one is an old hymn tune, I Will Arise, also known as Restoration. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though he will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. Think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. Woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep.
David, that was superb. I've heard it before and I love it even more. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. And there's Paul Clark. I didn't see you sneak in.
Was that a shape note hymn?
It's been done in a shape note style. It's also been done just as a standard hymnal.
Did you say Arise was its name?
I Will Arise. Also,
I Will Arise.
Also used as the cradle hymn. The name of the tune, official name, is Restoration.
Yeah, okay. I think I've sung it in Sacred Harp. Thank you. That was really wonderful.
Yes, yes.
So, Paul, we're already come to the encore section, but even though it's not an encore, perhaps you would give us a tune.
Okay, then.
I shall mute everybody. And ready for Paul.
I can see who the football fans are in this in the folk world here, from the people in the British side, as it were. Obviously not watching the game, so that's all right. That's it. Okay, this is actually, as a choice here, let's do this. This is, if you're coming towards the end, this is a lullaby. So and one from your side of the pond by Gerbil Reeves. This is. as the towns drift slowly by. Can't you hear the steel rails humming? That's the hobo's lullaby. I know your clothes are torn and ragged, and your hair is turning grey. Lift your head and smile at trouble. You'll find peace and rest someday. Now don't you worry about tomorrow. Let tomorrow come and go. Tonight you're in a nice warm boxcar, safe from all that wind and snow. I know the police will cause you trouble. They cause trouble everywhere. But when you die and go to heaven, you will find no policeman there. So go to sleep, you weary hobo. Let the towns drift slowly by. Listen to the steel rails humming. That's the hobo's lullaby. Listen to the steel rails humming. That's the hobo's lullaby.
Love it, love it, love it. Always has, always will.
Paul,
Great
your
guitar arrangement, by the way.
Thank you.
your guitar arrangements are always so low and sonorous.
Well,
Yeah.
they're low because the guitar won't play very high. But yes, yes. No, I learned that as the girl I met who sort of got me into folk music, Deborah Chesman, who's now American, who's now back in America, used to sing that as a lullaby to her son, and because of her brother was a policeman, and because she didn't want to instill bad thoughts, she didn't sing the verse about the policeman to him. I don't know what effect that had. Recently, he's been back home. He's in California now. He's been back home with them, remote working, and he's a more accomplished and polished singer than she is by now, and sort of does international glee singing and stuff. So they and her husband sings too. So they were doing stuff in trio on their Zoom screens, and he was singing this, of course, complete with all the verses. Now he's 29 and doesn't have to worry about this.
Yeah.
They were really good too. They were great. The three of them were just fantastic.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
I heard them on that session. It was great.
You were on that, weren't you? That's right. Yes.
Yeah, it was great. I wish they would come on this one.
I'm wondering if Gwyneth could give us another one.
Okay.
Oh, great. Okay, let me mute everybody. All ready for you to unmute.
I think I have. This is about a highwayman in the UK called Dick Turpin, who was very well known for his stand and deliver attacks on coaches, and then escaped to the north, where he was actually caught doing something completely different. On Hounslow Heath as I rode o'er, I spied a lawyer riding before. Kind sir, said he, aren't you afraid of Turpin, that mischievous blade? Oh, rat Turpin, hero, oh, rat Turpin, oh. Says Turpin, he'd ne'er find me out, I've hid my money in my boot. Oh, said the lawyer, there's none can find my loot, God, for it's stitched in my cape behind. Oh, rat Turpin, hero, oh, rat Turpin, oh. As they rode down by the powder mill, Turpin commands him to stand still. Says he, your cape I must cut off, for my mare she needs a new truffle cloth. Oh, rat Turpin, hero, oh, rat Turpin, oh. As Turpin rode in search of prey, he met an excise man on the way. Then boldly he did bid him stand. Your gold, he said, I do demand. Oh, rat Turpin, hero, oh, rat Turpin, oh. Turpin then without remorse soon knocked him quite from off his horse, and left him there on the ground to sprawl. So he rode off with his gold and all. Oh, rat Turpin, hero, oh, rat Turpin, oh. As he rode over Salisbury Plain, he met Lord Judge and all of his train. Then hero like he did approach, and robbed the judge as he sat in his coach. Oh, rat Turpin, hero, oh, rat Turpin, oh. For the shooting of a dunghill cock, poor Turpin now at last is took, and carried straight into a jail, where his ill luck he doth bewail. Oh, rat Turpin, hero, oh, rat Turpin, oh. Now Turpin is condemned to die, to hang upon the gallows high. His legacy is a strong rope for stealing a poor dunghill cock. Oh, rat Turpin, hero, oh, rat Turpin, oh. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, he was actually caught because he wrote a note and his old school teacher recognised the handwriting.
Wow.
So legend goes, so the story
Was it a
goes.
cheeky suggestion that he wrote on it?
He has attracted a lot of legends. There's also one that he rode from London to York in a single night, which I think is also disproved. but is he the one with the horse Black Bess, Gwyneth? Is that right?
I think so,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm sure that's a story, and I think it's been
Yet another one, yeah.
Yes.
And the falling in love with the landlord's daughter and things like that, and so on.
I think we could surely fill a whole session with the Highwayman ballads.
Absolutely.
Yeah, recently I did, Sauvé the Female Highwayman, which is one of my favorites.
That's nice, yeah.
And Bold Jack Donahue. And,
Oh, yeah.
And the poem, The Highwayman,
Yep.
would fill a whole session on its own.
That's right.
That's true.
Yeah. Right.
Hey, Mary Jane. Mary Jane, would you like to do one more before we go? No? I see. I'm trying to read Mary Jane's lips, but
I don't have anything worked up. I could probably do "This Land Is Your Land," though.
Oh, sure, why not? That's
It's in honor of it being sort of a patriotic time.
And we'll wrap up with that, and I'll do my goodbye song, and then we'll say goodbye. Okay, muting everybody. Ready for Mary Jane now. You're still muted.
Screwing around with the chords. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island. From the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land is made for you and me. As I was walking that riveted highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. This land is made for you and me. I've roamed and rambled, and I followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of her diamond deserts, and all around me a voice was sounding. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island. From the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. When the sun came shining and I was strolling, and the wheat fields waving and the dust clouds rolling, as the fog was lifting, a voice was chanting. This land was made for you and me. As I went walking, I saw a sign there, and on the sign it said no trespassing, and on the other side it didn't say nothing. That sign was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island. From the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. In the squares of the city, in the shadow of a steeple, by the relief office, I see my people as they stood there hungry. I stood there asking, is this land made for you and me? Nobody living can ever stop me as I go walking that freedom highway. Nobody
thank you so much. And thank you so much, everybody. I'm going to be traveling throughout the month of July, and I hope to be able to. I'm gonna take my gear and my microphone and borrow some instruments. So hopefully, I'll be able to join you for these sessions. But if I don't show up, you're very much invited to just click the link and join the session and figure it out for yourselves. You know, I don't think you really need me to push you around. So I'm not around. Have fun.
Anarchy.
Anarchy. And tomorrow is being Celtic Independence Day. is the Celtic session at 2:00 as well. So I'm going to play us out with Roy and Dale here. Okay. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Who cares about the clouds when we're together? Just sing a song and bring the sunny weather. Happy trails to you till we meet again. Some trails are happy ones, other trails are blue. It's the way you ride the trail that counts. Here's a happy one for you. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Who cares about the clouds when we're together? Just sing a song and bring the sunny weather. Happy trails to you till we meet again. So long.
Yay, Terry. Thank you, Terry.
Thank you, everyone. Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Until the next time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thanks. Bye.
Excellent.
Right.
Have a good night. We'll meet again.